Brave New World, the dystopia that becomes reality. In 1932, Aldous Huxley published Brave New World, a work that became one of the pillars of dystopian literature. The book portrays a futuristic society where technological and social control is absolute, and happiness is imposed through psychological manipulation, synthetic drugs, and endless distractions. Initially, Huxley saw this reality as an exaggerated satire, a critique of the direction humanity might take. However, over the following decades, historical events and scientific advancements led him to revise his perspective. What once seemed like a distant fiction came to be seen as an urgent warning about the dangers of mass manipulation and the loss of individual freedom, the rise of totalitarianism, and the manipulation of the masses. The 3 decades following the publication of Brave New World were marked by events that radically changed Huxley's view of his own work. World War II and the rise of totalitarian regimes in various parts of the world demonstrated how mass manipulation and state control could be used to subjugate entire populations. Huxley realized that the central themes of his book, domination through pleasure, the suppression of critical thinking, and psychological manipulation, were not mere speculations but real risks that humanity faced. In 1961, Huxley made a disturbing prediction. Within 1 or 2 generations, a pharmacological method would emerge to make people love their servitude. He called this a dictatorship without tears, a system where freedom would be taken away so subtly that people wouldn't even notice, distracted by superficial pleasures and anesthetized by a constant sense of artificial happiness. This, he suggested, would be the final revolution, the replacement of violent coercion with domination based on pleasure and psychological manipulation. Domination through pleasure, Huxley's vision versus Orwell's. While George Orwell in 1984 described a future where power is imposed through pain and direct oppression, Huxley imagined a world where domination occurs through pleasure. In Brave New World, the elites control the population not through force, but by offering endless distractions, immediate gratifications, and superficial pleasures that neutralize critical thinking and the will to rebel. Society is kept in balance through synthetic drugs, sexual promiscuity, and constant entertainment, elements that ensure the voluntary submission of individuals. Huxley suggests that the real danger to freedom lies not in violent oppression, but in the seduction of pleasure. Immediate gratification offered by distractions and constant stimuli reduces the desire to question reality or seek deeper meaning in life. People are conditioned to prefer entertainment over reflection, and the bombardment of stimuli weakens their ability to think critically. In this way, the elites can induce behaviors and even make people enjoy their own servitude using positive reinforcement instead of coercion, operant conditioning, and psychological manipulation. This idea finds resonance in the theory of operant conditioning, developed by psychologist B.F. Skinner in the 1930s and 1940s. Skinner demonstrated that behaviors can be shaped through rewards and punishments. In his experiments with rats, he observed that positive reinforcement, such as offering food when the animal performed a desired action, was more effective in creating lasting habits than punishment. While punishment temporarily suppresses undesirable behaviors, positive reinforcement turns them into ingrained patterns. Huxley imagined a society where elites would use this knowledge to shape the population from birth, instilling beliefs and behaviors that ensured social stability. In Brave New World, Soma, a synthetic drug that provides instant pleasure and eliminates dissatisfaction, is the primary tool of control. Its daily use ensures that citizens remain happy and docile, without questioning authority or seeking change. Sexual promiscuity and constant entertainment complete the picture, keeping people distracted and satisfied. Parallels with contemporary society, Huxley also warned of the danger of the pharmaceutical industry and elites promoting the voluntary consumption of substances that alter thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. He predicted that, instead of using force, it would be enough to make these substances accessible and attractive for people to consume them without realizing they were being manipulated. This idea finds parallels in contemporary society, where the excessive use of medication, social media, and other forms of digital distraction can be seen as a modern form of social control. Huxley's dystopia invites us to reflect on the risks of a society that prioritizes comfort and immediate pleasure over freedom and responsibility. In a world where technology and science advance rapidly, psychological manipulation and social control can become increasingly subtle and effective. The relentless pursuit of superficial pleasures can lead us to voluntary servitude, where freedom is exchanged for a false sense of happiness. The relationship between pleasure and pain. Huxley also reminds us that freedom requires effort and discomfort. In a society where comfort is abundant, the challenge is to resist the temptation to give in to immediate pleasure and seek deeper meaning in life. As Nietzsche warned, excessive pleasure can lead to pain, and the pursuit of challenges and discomforts can strengthen us and make us more capable of appreciating genuine pleasures. Neuroadaptation is a phenomenon that illustrates this relationship. When we indulge excessively in pleasure, our brain creates a tolerance requiring increasingly more stimuli to achieve the same sense of satisfaction. At the same time, the subsequent pain becomes more intense and prolonged. This vicious cycle can lead us to a dependence on superficial pleasures, such as social media, ultra-processed food, or digital entertainment, which offer immediate gratification but little real meaning. Self-control and the search for deeper meaning. To break this cycle, it is necessary to exercise self-control and seek activities that require effort and discipline. Physical exercise, for example, is a form of voluntary pain that can generate more genuine and lasting pleasure. Setting challenging goals and consciously facing discomforts can help us restore the balance between pleasure and pain, strengthening our ability to appreciate the small joys of life. The philosophy of Diogenes the Cynic offers an extreme example of this idea. Diogenes constantly sought discomfort, believing that voluntary pain was the secret to a fulfilling life. He slept in a barrel, walked barefoot in the snow, and lived with the bare minimum, despising superficial pleasures. Although his approach may seem radical, it reminds us that the relentless pursuit of comfort can weaken us, while facing challenges can make us more resilient and capable of finding deeper meaning in life. Final considerations: freedom in a world of distractions. Ultimately, Brave New World is not just a critique of totalitarianism, but a warning about the dangers of a society that values comfort and pleasure above all else. Huxley invites us to question the subtle forms of control that surround us and to resist the temptation to trade our freedom for an illusory happiness. As he suggested, the real challenge is not just to avoid coercion, but to resist the seduction of pleasure that makes us complicit in our own servitude. In a world where technology and science advance rapidly, psychological manipulation and social control can become increasingly subtle and effective. The relentless pursuit of superficial pleasures can lead us to voluntary servitude, where freedom is exchanged for a false sense of happiness. It is up to us, as individuals and as a society, to resist this seduction and seek a balance between comfort and challenge, pleasure and meaning, freedom and responsibility. Ending for the video, a call to awareness and action. When we look at the world today, it is impossible not to notice the parallels between Huxley's dystopia and the reality we live in. We live in an era of technological abundance where comfort and pleasure are just a click away. But just like in Brave New World, this convenience can be a double-edged sword. Social media, algorithms that keep us trapped in information bubbles, the overconsumption of entertainment, and even the medicalization of happiness are modern forms of control that Huxley predicted almost a century ago. The big question that remains is, are we heading toward a dictatorship without tears, where freedom is exchanged for an illusory happiness? Or do we still have the capacity to resist these seductions and seek deeper meaning in our lives? Huxley left us a powerful warning. True freedom requires effort, discomfort, and above all, awareness. We cannot allow ourselves to be swallowed by a sea of distractions that pull us away from what truly matters. We must question the narratives imposed on us, resist the temptation of immediate pleasure, and seek a balance between comfort and challenge. So, I ask you, what are you willing to do to preserve your freedom? How can you resist the seductions of the modern world and find genuine meaning in your life? The answer lies in your hands. And, as Huxley reminds us, the future is not written. It is shaped by the choices we make today. If this video made you reflect, share these ideas with others. Let's build a more conscious society together, where freedom and true happiness are priorities. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Until next time, and remember, the revolution begins within each of us.